Hello! It is so lovely to be here. We didn't think that we would be able to do many assemblies or any assemblies this year after the school shut and social distancing came in. So we are super excited, even though we can't be with you in person, which we really would love to do as soon as it's possible, that we're still able to make this harvest assembly for you. We really love to see you. We love to be with you, and we can't wait to see you soon. So just in case you haven't met some of us, my name is Helen.
My name is Belisha.
And I'm Sam.
And together we are the Christian Education Project. And we have got a super special harvest assembly for you today.
Sam, I can't believe we're in autumn already.
Summer's gone really quickly, hasn't it?
Too fast. And I'm sure you guys also agree that this year probably didn't go as expected.
No, it didn't at all.
We've now got social distancing.
We have.
We had large queues just to go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's that took like 25 minutes to get inside.
And we're having to wear masks as well, which is quite strange
yeah.
if you're an adult. If you're over 12, that's different, isn't it?
No. Could only go for a walk for one day at one point.
I couldn't have my holiday.
And same here.
I was really sad about that.
Same here. However, there were some good things.
There were. We had at home the best quiz evenings in our family. They were really good fun. We zoomed in with Granny and Grandad, sisters, cousins. That was really good fun. And I even won.
Oh,
once.
Fantastic.
Only once. Only once did I win.
Yeah, I think family time was nice at home, wasn't it? And maybe you might have picked up a skill. So I definitely practiced with my guitar at home during this time because I had all that time at home. What else did you pick up?
I
any
got
skills?
much better at sewing.
Oh,
Yep.
that's handy.
So that mask thing, I was sewing masks, so that was
Very,
good, but I
very
enjoyed
clever.
doing that. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, as you can see, there were negatives to this year, but there were also positives, which I think is very important to think about. And that leads very nicely onto the story that we're going to be telling for this assembly.
That's right. There's something that I really want you to think about that comes up in our story. 2020 was actually quite a difficult year for a lot of people. But something really cool happened at some point. Lots of rainbows started appearing in people's windows and families were drawing them. I wonder maybe if you drew a rainbow with your family. Why do you think people chose to draw rainbows? What's so special about them? Maybe when you were thinking about rainbows, you said that they were bright and colourful and they make people feel cheerful when things aren't fine. And that actually links to the story I want to share. It's about a family where something happened to them that wasn't very nice and they weren't sure if things were going to be okay. But the rainbow is a really important part of that story, and it appears at the end when they knew that things were going to work out well. The story I'm going to tell you today is a special story for me because I'm a Christian, and this story is from the Bible. The main character in this story is this man. His name is Noah. Noah was a really good man. He loved God and he helped people. But not everyone in those times was like that. Some people were really mean. So one day, God asked Noah to do a special job for him. God asked him to build an ark. An ark is like a really big boat made from wood. It was quite a surprise because it wasn't raining and there wasn't really any obvious need to have an ark. But Noah did as God had asked him to. All of his family helped. When the ark was finished, Noah did the last part of what God had asked him to do and took on at least 2 of every animal into the ark with him, as well as his family. As soon as the door shut, the rain came down. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. What a good thing that Noah and his family had the ark, because it didn't just stop raining then. The rain carried on. Soon the earth was flooded. And in fact, the story tells us that it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. that is a lot of rain. Eventually, the rain stopped, and Noah wasn't really sure how he could find out if there was dry land. So he sent a dove, a white bird, out to see if the dove came back with any sort of plants. And the dove came back with an olive branch in its beak, and they knew that there was land and they were safe. Noah and his family were really happy because they'd spent so long on the ark. Imagine you couldn't go out for 40 days and 40 nights. It's a bit like being on lockdown, isn't it? But I think it would be worse because they couldn't go outside and there was animals everywhere. At the end of our story, God put a rainbow in the sky. And God said, "This is a reminder to you that I'm going to promise not to flood the earth again. And every time you see a rainbow, you can remember that I keep my promises. Good things will happen."
So I hope you enjoyed that story. It's one of my favourites, and you probably might have heard it before now. But one thing that we wanted to do is link it to harvest, because it's not your typical harvest assembly story, is it, Noah's Ark? So the first thing I'm going to say is that the rainbow, as I said before the story started, is this symbol of hope. Because it's something that we see in rainy times, isn't it? For a rainbow to happen, you need rain and you need sun. So a rainbow comes out when it's raining and miserable, but all of a sudden the sun comes out and it breaks through and something beautiful appears in the sky, even though it might have been a rainy day. And that's a little bit like harvest, isn't it? Because a seed is kind of a symbol of hope. A seed in itself is tiny. There's nothing special about a seed at all, is there? They're not even particularly beautiful. They're just very small and there's nothing significant about them. But you need rain and you need sun for a seed to grow, and something beautiful appears and something amazing comes out of it. So maybe your year so far, 2020, has not been amazing. It's been quite unremarkable. Nothing particularly good happened. You might have had your birthday party cancelled or you couldn't see your friends. But maybe we can see what good things can come later on in the year. That's something very harvesty.
When I think about Noah's story, I think about how patient Noah had to be. He waited for God to send the rain, and then when God shut the door, they were inside that ark with all of those animals, his family, which feels a little bit like our lockdown, isn't it? For 40 days and 40 nights, and it rained and it rained and it rained. And then when it stopped raining, Noah had to wait for all of that water to go down so that then he would be able to go outside the ark. Now we have to sometimes wait for the good things. The rainbow gives us hope, but we still have to wait. And that's one of the things about harvest. It's about waiting, and then there's hope, and then there's the good stuff. And there's the good stuff. So we want to remind you that there is good stuff to come.
And one last pointer that I want to highlight is how thankful Noah must have felt after all of that ordeal being on the ark and receiving that great blessing of being able to come out of that ark with all the animals. I want to ask you what you might be thankful for in this time that we're in. When good things come along, are we thankful?
So we've got a couple of things that we wanted you to think about. Maybe you can think about them quietly to yourself. If you're in class at the moment, maybe your teacher's going to want to have some ideas from you, so you might want to think about what you could feed back, but your teacher's going to help you with that. The first thing that I want you to think about is how can we stay positive or hopeful or happy when things are tough? When things don't go exactly the way that we want them to, how can we keep our spirits up? How can we be happier?
The second thing we want you to think about is, what are you looking forward to this autumn? Is there some special event in your family? Soon it's going to be my birthday and I'm really looking forward to that. Or maybe there's something else. Are you maybe looking forward to playing some football or going out to the park again, and all of those lovely things still that we can do outside while the sun is still shining?
And thirdly, as I mentioned before, what things are you guys thankful for? It could be anything. It could be your school friends, it could be the fact that you get to go to school again, or it could be being able to go to the park, or the food that you have in your household. Anything. What are you guys thankful for?
Okay, well that is the end of our Harvest Assembly, our first digital online Harvest Assembly. We really hope you've enjoyed it, and we're sure you've listened super well, because you normally do when we come. So we hope to be with you in person as soon as we can, and until then, bye!
See you soon. Bye.